Dee, welcome to the podcast.
So happy to be here. This place is nice.
I'm so happy to have you on here. So for those tuning in, Dee, you're the founder of Right Hook Digital, which arguably was the inspiration for a whole generation of agencies to come after you. You've worked with hundreds of e-commerce brands, offices in Australia, the US, you've got an international team, and you inspired me many, many years ago. So to be sitting down here now as a friend on this podcast,
so nuts.
I'm pumped.
So nuts. So nuts. It's funny. Like before we started recording, we were just talking about it. Sitting at the laptop, just trenching away. It's crazy to hear still that like a generation were just scoping us out and liking
100%.
our shit and all that. It's crazy.
Totally. Yeah. Like I said, before I started my creative agency, I saw Right Hook. You worked with Nick. I'm pretty sure you ran Nick's ads for a while. He had an e-commerce brand. But that was always like a North Star, not something that we felt like we were up against, but more so looking at your brand and going, if we could even be 10% of this or half of this, that would be incredible. And I remember you dropped a really high production video with a drone going over LA when you launched in the US. And that was, again, a taste of like, okay, if you can do it in Australia, you can actually do it overseas and like international expansion. That's what all the big agencies do when they get to a certain spot. And I haven't actually really heard the full story, like the grassroots version of Right Hook. So maybe to kick things off, can you just explain like how you started this?
Totally.
And what the first, it's been a 10-year journey, right?
Totally. Next year's 10 years. Fuck, I feel so old. So I got my foot into business, rewinding a little bit in 2012, 2013. Mm-hmm. Before that, I was in like film production. I've got a film degree. I've got no business at being in business, right? And then read this 4-Hour Work Week book by this Tim Ferriss guy, and I'm like, wait, there's a way to actually not just be like a trencher for someone else. And keeping in mind, like I'm an 80s kid, so without having any entrepreneur in my family, it was just such a wacky out there idea.
When I first read that book, 4-Hour Work Week, it went straight over my head at the time.
Interesting.
At the time, I was like, this just seems so unrealistic, unreasonable, and it was way too far. Right. And I remember just discarding it. Right. And now that I think back, subconsciously, it's probably something stayed because he was just onto it.
Yeah. Like, and I remember thinking that as well, because it was like, this feels so San Francisco, this book. It's like 4 hours, hire people to do stuff for you.
VAs,
like,
it was
totally. Yeah. The new rich, right?
Yeah.
That's how they live and all that. But it just started me thinking of, wait a second, maybe working for myself, because being in film production, you're already a contractor and a freelancer of sorts. Yes. But actually then turning that into a business, you don't need some super rich uncle or like VCs or whatever. Perhaps it might be a way to do this.
So that was your moment.
That was my little, a seed got planted. Let's fuck around and find out.
Nice.
Right. And then started a tech company, not a developer also, not a business person, but went, hey, this was 2014. Living in someone else's apartment when you're traveling was a super novel idea. The share economy was starting to pop off. And so I went, wait a second, maybe we can do that for film equipment. So that was the premise of that first startup. Tried to raise here locally in Australia, tried to raise in the US also, got to pitch like Guy Kawasaki, but also got to sink my teeth into growth marketing because we needed user acquisition,
of course,
to be able to have that narrative to try to make the raise a lot easier. And that's when also Facebook started having inventory to buy ads. That then led into me being in like a Neil Patel Facebook group, and that's where I met my co-founder Scott originally. We just started spitting sauce back and forth, and the moderator just said, hey, shout out your city, you might find a friend or whatever. And he happened to be on the Gold Coast, I was on Brisbane. And because we've been disappointed by previous business partners before, the whole premise was, let's just, again, fuck around and find out. we'll start seeing if we can get a few clients, and if we can get, I forget what the promise that we made to each other was. Like, if we can get 6 clients in the next 3-4 months, then maybe we'll think about actually turning this to a proper business.
Okay.
Right. So started picking up the phone and being like, hey, we'll just run your Facebook ads. And I think in like 2 months, we got like 8 clients. And
Wow.
oh shit, we better do something about this now.
Yeah.
So signed the documents July 3rd, 2017, got it inked. And then at the peak of, I guess like 2020, peak of COVID 2022, we found ourselves with like 128 people.
Wow.
Right? Because COVID was very kind to e-com.
Absolutely.
Everyone was just drunk on STEMI checks, just like, buy.
It was crazy. That was basically like the beginning of my career in e-commerce.
Right.
My first brand, 2018, 17, 18. And then we kind of plodded along. And it was just March of 2020.
Bro.
That's when I quit my job. That's when it was like all in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
and nothing
right.
had changed. The ads were the same. The website was the same. It was just like that wave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consumerism on steroids, just like,
Yep. And Future was born at the same time. So I always say I
Nuts.
felt like we skipped 5 years in 24 months.
yeah.
And the lockdowns in Melbourne were insane. We were an essential service though. So the show went on and it was just explosive. Crazy.
Nuts.
So 138 employees.
128.
128.
Yeah, that was our like peak.
It's a big team.
It was a big team. I think the lesson there also was like we were really trying to just throw warm bodies at the problem.
Yeah.
And back then the problem was very much a supply side constraint.
Yes.
Right. We were just like, oh my God, everyone was starting an e-com brand, or the existing e-com brands were just flying.
Mm-hmm.
Shit was just flying off of the shelves, and they're trying to keep up and capture more market share. And I mean, money was so cheap back then because of the STEMI checks.
2%. It was like,
Interest rates were redonkulous.
Yep.
And then the correction came 23, 24, 25, up
and
until
we all
now.
felt that.
And everyone felt that.
Yeah.
And so many, like dozens, were just caught with their pants down,
Yeah.
right? And getting to see the evolution. And like, interestingly, because we managed to, I put it up to sheer luck that we just happened to be in the market in, 2016, 2017, where there was still an arbitrage with Facebook ads.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this was pre-Instagram stories inventory.
You were
Right.
early.
Yeah.
Take us back. Open up a dashboard. What kind of metrics are we talking? CPMs, clicks, like what?
Totally. Like, see, exactly that. But you don't have the, like now there's like incrementality, for example. Now you're getting to see so much of like fatigue.
Right.
You get to see
The
all
more
that.
you scale, the
Totally.
more expensive
Back
it gets.
then, it was pretty much you still get to see your CPMs, your CTRs,
Yep.
your CPAs, of course. It was Power Editor, and everyone was all about the Power Editor before it was called. And then back then it was then they started shifting it to Performance 5.
Dude, I don't know.
Now it's like CBO. Now it's like account simplification.
Okay, right.
Right, but back
Yeah.
then it was before. So there was a time before Zuck sat in front of Congress, and there was a time before Apple decided, you know what, iOS 14.
Yeah.
And the time before that was wild because of this thing called bulk data. So with the data providers that fed stuff into Facebook, the targeting was just like nuts.
It was crazy. Like
Yeah.
I probably got a taste of the end of that. Like
Right.
when we were doing skincare, I remember interests like KFC, McDonald's, fast food,
Totally.
techno lovers, people that went to nightclubs, and they were just hitting.
Totally.
Like, yeah.
Totally. And that was all because of credit card data that was flying around the world. And, like as long as you use a credit card somewhere, you're on the grid. And so you're able to get targeted in that type
How
of
much
way.
of that still exists but is just not visible anymore?
I don't know anymore because now the way that the algorithm works is so dramatically different to before, right? Because they've had to peel out, because it was a PR nightmare. The whole like Cambridge Analytica
Oh, totally.
was a complete PR nightmare for Facebook Inc. back then. And then when they did the whole like meta switch, I think it was very much like a let's clean up our act because official eyes are on us now. Let's really start to, and they also had an ad inventory problem because everyone was jumping on. That's why Andromeda is the way Andromeda is in a lot of ways also.
What do you mean by that?
Because just of how many ad dollars are flowing through all the time and how many ads are in the ecosystem, their old way of running the algorithm was just so inefficient for getting the right ad in front of the right person.
Right.
Because it's just like billions of ads.
Yeah.
Right. So now with creative as the new targeting,
Yes.
so much of it is very much from a content graph perspective. Even that has shifted. I think TikTok really forced that hand also, where before it was all engagement graph, like something, share something, etc. And then TikTok came around. It was like however much time you spent on a piece of content, they'll just feed you more of that.
Yep.
Right. So the way things have shifted from a media buying perspective, and you hear it all the time, media buying's dead. Right. Every other year media buying's dead. And I think, but now in a July 2026 kind of context, I think there's a lot more credence to that catch cry.
Yes.
Compared to like 4, 5, 6 years ago when they took away targeting, for example.
100%. Let's talk about that because, the whole media buying is dead. You see it everywhere. And over this year, especially, I've started going down the rabbit hole of figuring out how I can create agentic software to run my ad account, or even at a bare minimum, just hook in via MCP and just start talking to it. It's a different way of interacting with the 100%. Software. But you're in the trenches across hundreds of accounts. You see it all. Where are we headed, and what kind of place does AI have in your industry, which is ad buying, creative, e-commerce growth?
I think I wrestle with that question a lot, even just sitting at my own desk myself, just because we're seeing, I don't know, Anthropic feels like Drake right now. They're just dropping like times a year, just bangers. Right? Like what before would have taken someone needing to sit down. Remember last year we caught up? It was like, bro, N8N, man. Oh my God.
Right.
This one node goes into that and that. And
yep, it was revolutionary at the time.
Totally.
It was only a minute ago.
100%.
Yeah.
And all of the automation bros were like flexing at the complexity of their N8N. Where's N8N now? Like, who's, like...
We just had a consultant tell us get off of it.
Like,
right. Yeah.
Right, totally. It's moving so incredibly quickly where before it was like, something had a shelf life of 2-3 years. Now we're lucky if something has a shelf life of like 2-3 months, right? Fable came on and then it got nerfed and then now it's back on again.
Yep.
And all this to say, it's extremely challenging to try to extrapolate out into the future and go, yeah, we'll still need this 12 months from now.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, Facebook's North Star, at least a few years ago, was, the ability to upload creative and just kind of click go. You know what I mean? And we're there now. It's like it's never actually been easier to launch ads.
Oh my God.
If you're still struggling to launch ads, come on. Yeah. And there's obviously still an art and a science to it. And I don't want to make it sound more simple than it is, because scaling to millions a month with Meta it's a skill, right?
Totally.
And now their North Star is tell us how much you're willing to pay for a customer and click go. So, and that's just blowing my mind coming from a creative lens.
100%.
Is that where we're headed? Is it going to be whoever can spend the most wins? And when it comes to the targeting and the creative and the copywriting, it's done.
I genuinely think so. Because, think about it, right? Meta is a publicly traded company, and most of the revenue still comes from ads. So what is the name of the game? To be able to increase revenue from advertising, then you have to remove as much friction as possible.
That's right.
And provide results as favorably as possible to customers on the advertiser side.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? It means then being able to strip out anything that could seem too complex for small business Sally or medium business Melanie to be able to just go, you know what? I have this really great idea for this one thing. Let's just film it. Let's just put it up. And let's just hit the button and go broad and let it find its way and ROI something.
Yeah.
Right? So all the ad bros where, the brands that don't really have a brand, they have effectively a business that's reliant on advertising.
Right. As soon as they turn their ads off, they've got nothing.
Exactly. The moment ads go off or the moment the CAC goes up, the whole thing is screwed. And CAC from an ad platform perspective, they're fucked.
Yeah.
Right? Then you've got the brands who are going, okay, wait a second here. We've got something that's robust enough to actually go through and see through any type of volatility inside of the platforms and still have a business, like an actual business. So all this to say, right now is a really wacky time where the brands that just rely on ads only seem to be struggling a lot.
Right.
One, I think Andromeda really threw them for a loop to be like, oh my God, you need how much diversity?
Yeah.
Right? Whereas before it was like, okay, let's take one angle, one concept, and just iterate the shit out of that.
Yeah, a few hook variations and it's going to work for us.
Totally, 100%.
And now it's like, absolutely not. So, because this is something I think about whenever I'm getting involved in a new venture or if I was to start an e-commerce brand, it's like, if Facebook was gone tomorrow, like what is left? And it's important to like, will the brand keep running?
Yeah.
And I think that with an amazing product, good community, good brand, it's like ads are fuel to that fire. You start with a business and then you add fuel to it and it grows.
100%.
So I guess my question for you, you've been in the trenches for over 10 years. You've, using Facebook before, I mean, a lot of people were, and you've also worked with hundreds of brands, still do a team of 128. Like you obviously know something about ads. For a brand right now, how should they be thinking about this in terms of just their overall strategy? Like, we've got product supply chain, we've got, when it comes to ads, like what is just so critical that today, like this is how you need to be thinking. It's a mindset thing as well to make sure you're successful.
It comes back down to first principles, right? I'm very much like a first principles kind of person anyway.
I love that.
Which is for us to successfully sell something or some things, we got some people that we got to sell it to. Now, the version 1.0 or like the dinosaur way of doing things is like, oh, here are the demographics. This is Sandra. She lives in metropolitan New York and she is this years old and her career is this. Very demographical type stuff. Maybe some firmographics. And then you've got I forget what the name of the book is, but it encourages people to go more into the psychographic side of things, right? But if you can understand, if any brand or anyone selling something can firmly understand who am I selling to, these different pockets, and what messaging would be most resonant for them. So just go, okay, here's an audience. Let's try to know as much about them as possible. And then let's find out the angles in which we put our shit forward that differentiates us in the mind of the consumer.
Yes.
Right. And that's what got me into marketing and really hooked me is really the psychology behind marketing.
Same.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so infinitely fun.
It's infinite. It actually is infinite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I've seen this time and time again. And we jammed about it a bit early before we started recording too. You're just one angle, one ad away. Right? Like genuinely you find the right angle. I've seen ad accounts go from struggling 10K a month, 20K a month, and then they find this one angle, and the angle can come completely out of left field because someone did some research on Reddit and some subreddit and went, hey, there's something here, and we test it, and we're constantly testing a suite of different angles at any one kind of sprint anyway, right? So, and you test it, and then it goes to 10K a day.
Yep.
Right? And then 20K, and then before you know it, you've got like 100K a day spender, and now your brand looks completely different.
Yep.
And the only thing that changed was you sticking to your guns around your testing process.
Yes.
Right? Without being too clever about it. It's not like there are these geniuses that sit behind agencies that go, I'm just going to sit here motionless like this for like 6 hours and then go,
one hit, one kill. Just like,
totally.
No,
it's not some sniper shit.
I love what you said there though, one ad. It's like, that's all it takes.
Bruh.
And it's like, yes, you have to test, but usually one ad carries you from 10 to 20K to 100K a month plus.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so good. So when it comes to finding those angles, you already mentioned like Reddit threads, speaking to customers, there's a million ways to sell one product. Is there a certain framework that you use at the agency now? And what kind of visuals are you pairing it with? Are you seeing that ugly ads are converting, the native UGC style stuff? Is there Higgsfield? Like, are you still doing high polished ads? Do they have a place?
Totally.
What's working?
Totally. It's so absolutely niche reliant.
Niche reliant. Okay.
Right? It's very niche to niche. Like, I think one thing though, before I get into the different niches, one thing that I think a lot of e-com brand owners can really do as a favor to themselves is go study app developers. I don't know what it is about the app bros, right? But they understand distribution like no other. Right? Like the Cal AI guys, for example, right? They just look at distribution in such a different way because if you think about it, most apps don't have high AOV. They're playing the LTV game.
Yes.
Like, it's very challenging for an app to charge you like $100 a month.
Well, no, usually it's free or $1 for the first however long.
Yeah, exactly. You got to grind it out for the freemium.
It's not exactly self-liquidating. It's like you're paying up front and then you need a good product.
Exactly.
So you're saying look at them for inspiration on
look at
formats
them for inspiration, all of it.
All of it.
Just distribution and like customer acquisition in general.
Yes.
Right? Look at their organic efforts. Look at their clipping efforts also. They are magnificent at being clippers. They have a certain latitude that is afforded to them that I think isn't necessarily afforded to e-com, which is a lot of AI ads.
Right.
Right? They'll have the, that monk AI avatar guy repurposed as an ad, for example.
Yeah.
Or
so maybe stay away from those, less applicable to e-com. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But understand the principles behind how they're like fucking around with their stuff.
Yeah.
Look at their ad library.
Yep. I love this. Is like really, really good source because I always tell people the most original ideas come from taking inspiration from ads that are completely outside of your industry. 100%. So I'd say like, hey, if you're selling a product in the sports space, go look at beauty brands.
Totally.
And then like find how you can replicate that. And then you end up with something very original. But you're saying go apps.
Go apps.
Which is sweet.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's something I haven't looked into too far.
Totally.
So just ads library. And the best part now is you can filter ads library by impressions. So it's just like best performing's up the top. Yeah. You don't need to guess.
Yeah, 100%. And Kalo data. And let's not forget Kalo also, because Kalo has some sauce.
So how do people tap into that?
So because Kalo you can go in by creator.
Yeah,
right? So on because they have TikTok Shop, you can go from a per creator standpoint and start seeing what creators are cranking out, because there are so many professional TikTok Shop creator types who would just like show anything, right? You really get, so they're constantly, their full-time job is just finding banger like angles and banger concepts.
So are you doing much on TikTok Shop with the US side of your operation?
It's kind of lost its potency a little bit there for a minute. Like, for the most part, most of our brand partners, it's still just like Meta, IG,
Shopify.
Yeah, totally. And then, Meta in their most recent marketing summit over in the States dropped that they're going to be putting some serious firepower behind shoppable Instagram.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Music to my ears.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's, like, it's been so, as much as Instagram Shop has been like a back and forth thing, I think for them to be able to announce it like that
and go properly, because I just want an easy way to tap into affiliate networks, make sure they get paid, be able to rip their content when I want to and put it in my ad account. Yeah. And if they can do that, I'll be very happy. And we're in Australia, so we don't have TikTok Shop. Yeah. They've been saying for,
oh my God,
it's going to be next year. It's going to be next year. But it doesn't seem to come.
Totally. They're like that flaky friend who'll be like, bro, I'm just 2 traffic lights away, bro. I'm just around the corner. I'm like, bro, it's been 4 hours.
Exactly.
Let's just call it.
Yeah. So I want to pivot a little bit and go back to this COVID era where your team started growing extremely quickly. You went from, I don't know, how many people did you have?
So, I mean, it was like linear pop, right? So like we had 2 of us fuckers trying to figure out what the hell was going on. That turned into 4. I remember it was like Paul, Beck, Scott and I, right?
Yep.
And then it popped off because we joined forces with Ray and Luke, and Ray's now my effectively my head of new client acquisition, and then Luke, who started off as our head of media buying and now is my COO. And that's when we started going like 8 people, 20 something, 40 something, and then somehow I woke up one morning of like 100 something. Now, I mean, admittedly, now we're at like 62.
Yep.
Right, and I think just the market correction as well as the introduction of AI has changed that.
Totally.
But yeah, so
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to this moment where, you know, you wake up all of a sudden, 128 people relying on you.
Yep.
I'm sure, you know, you've got systems, you've got processes, you've got layers of management, you've got
duct tape everywhere.
Duct tape everywhere. And like, honestly, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard work managing that people. I mean, my agency, I got to 35. So
were you guys mostly single location?
yeah, that was 35
Fire.
altogether.
Yeah.
Plus, that's not including like VAs and contractors
Sure.
on top of that, but just like core team on the payroll
Love
every
that.
month. Again, like, you know, you had 100 more. It's like, I know what that feels like. You know, I can't imagine. Future's a little bit different kettle of fish. It's not an agency. So even though there's hundreds of employees, it's like, it's different.
Totally.
We're multi-location, physical.
Totally.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is going from managing 4 or 6 people to over 100. There's like a lot of kind of like spots where like you hit like a certain threshold and you need to fundamentally change the way that you think and operate as a leader and how you structure your business. And I know that you're now doing more coaching and giving away way more resources on this exact topic.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about first the fundamental shift. We'll break it into maybe 2 or 3 stages. That shift where you go, I'm a founder and I have a team, but I'm still required to rock up every day. And it's like, you know, let's say you've got 5 people, 10 people. Like, what needs to happen to get yourself out and now have a team that is self-sufficient? Because that's where a lot of people get stuck.
Totally. I think the most apt analogy that I always go back to is a hospitality one, right? So when we first start any kind of venture, usually it's all hands on deck. We've got this food truck. Every night, our job is there's a line, like first drum up a line of people and then feed them.
Yep.
Right? We're super scrappy.
And it's like single hierarchy. It's just one line and we just go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, and then we're also very okay stepping on one another's toes, right? What I mean by that is all 4 of us in the food truck, it's like, bro, I've got to go to the bathroom real quick. You cover this. And then when I come back, so everyone's really fluent for the most part with what one another needs to do.
Yes.
Right. But if in a food truck situation, we're all super excited, we're hyped up, we're like, you know, it's all brand new. So we're down to grind, right? But also we know when a food truck, if 2 of us fall sick, that night of service is gonna suck balls. It's just gonna be absolutely horrible. So there's effectively key man risk.
Yes.
Right? And also effectively, we don't have any hierarchy. We're just a bunch of pirates who are very great, I guess in grown-up corporate land, we're great individual contributors. There might be a Lord of the Flies situation where we look up to one person as like the voice to follow, but nothing's really official because we're just a scrappy food truck. Most ventures then want to aspire to moving out of food truck to go either multi-food truck or like let's go legit and have like a proper restaurant now. That's a dramatically different business, right? You're still selling food, but the way you run it is like completely changed. And that transition out of individual contributor to now someone who manages others and dare I say like leads others, dramatically different also. Like I've seen you like just evolve through that yourself too. And the main thing, the reason why it's so difficult is because for a lot of individual contributors, it's extremely painful for them to go, I'm not touching the tools anymore.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
Either because we romanticize it or either because we go, I just can't trust these fuckers. Like every time I don't do
There's
it.
an ego thing to it. There's I can do it twice as fast, twice as good as you. Get out of my way.
Get out of my way.
There's a perfectionism part of this.
100%.
Knowing that naturally it will drop, but then you steer it up and then before you know it, they're actually doing the job better than you ever could.
100%.
But it's crossing the chasm to get there.
It's crossing the chasm. That's exactly it. And so the cross I'm polluting this a little bit, but the cross analogy, then this is where like building a jujitsu school analogy kind of kicks in, right? Like no, when it first starts, no one will be able to do it as good as the black belt. That's why you started the jiu-jitsu school. But also, if you apply that type of mindset and mentality, and luckily for me, because I'm Singaporean, I had to serve my country. I went through the fire service and got to see how organizations like those get built, where you're a scared, kind of like dumb 18, 19, 20-year-old boy, and they turn you into someone who can like save lives out there in real life in a span of like what basic training is 3 months. Sergeant training is 3 more months. In a 6-month time, for half a year, you're now trusted to go out there and save other people's lives and not kill yourself in the process.
That's wild, because having also grown up in Singapore, but because I'm not Singaporean, I didn't serve. Yeah. I'm curious, I've never heard that story, one. And two, like was there a key takeaway or something that happened over those 6 months that have stuck with you forever as a leader or as a person that's building teams?
It's the fact that if we applied the same rigor as any whether it's armed forces or like civil service or whatever else it might be, and we go, a batch of people are coming in, right, where they do not have any of the skills, and we cannot rely on talent. We have to rely on building skills. Yeah. Some innately will take to it, some won't. But by the end of this, only the ones who make it past will be allowed to actually be in the field.
Right.
The rest of them, and this is a life or death thing, like quite literally, right? Yeah. You don't want to send someone out there to go injure themselves or fatally wound themselves.
Yes.
So the way that you structure your onboarding, your training, is very much a let's put you under controlled, high-stress environments to kind of find out who makes it to the next pass. And so I took a lot of that into the way that we approach our own teams also, where it's like, if you're the only person who can do it, right, then one, either don't hire people around you, because you think you're the only person who can do it, then what's the point of those other people anyway? Especially if you go, get out of my way, I'm going to do it. Get out of my way, I'm going to do it.
So this is super actionable. That's step one. Yeah. It's like getting out of your own way, getting out of the mindset, dropping the ego, and going, your job no longer is to do the thing. It's actually to find, train, empower, manage the people
100%,
to do the thing,
100%.
Which is a selfless act in a way as well.
Yes, and also to instruct. So if you can navigate an obstacle course, if you're trying to grow a team, then the skill you need to get really good at is, you know that game they make you play in like school camp where you have to stand to the side, your buddy's in the obstacle course, they're blindfolded, and all you can do is like narrate how they should navigate the obstacle course.
Yeah.
Like the analog of that in our workplace, if you can do that really well, that's when you start becoming like a force multiplier.
And what would you say when it comes to instructing others on a task? Because like that example's great, but when someone's like managing maybe a multi-million-dollar account of yours, and they need to perform, what's like the number one thing to making sure that your communication style is effective?
Totally.
And
totally.
How do people?
So the trick is mind melding, right? So the trick is to be able to get to eventually that place where you're both almost like finishing one another's sentences, because you used to do it and then now they can do it as well. So it's very much first you want to build up the shorthand that you guys have. So what do we do first?
It's the language.
Yeah, totally. The spoken stuff and the unspoken stuff, or even the like, bro, you got it? Yeah, I got it. Like,
yeah, I love it.
So what's the path to get there? The path to get there usually starts with, okay, I do, you watch. Then we do that for a while. And then while you watch, ask me all the dumb questions that you want to ask. That's the part where most people get frustrated. Because like, bro, I'm busy. Stop asking stupid questions, right? But if you give them permission to be like, anything you don't understand, ask until you understand. I'll be your personal Claude that will never get irritated and frustrated, right? Because the thing is, we've done it for so long that we take the knowledge as for granted, right? Like,
it becomes second nature. You don't even think
it becomes second nature. It becomes like driving a car, like, whereas if we all recall how we used to, like the first day we stepped into a car on the driver's side, We're like, I don't, like, what? Kinda. Then the person has to be like, check your rearview mirror, check your blind spot, hand here. That level of instruction you got to do. And then what's next? After I do, you watch. Next one is you do some, I do some, and I watch.
Okay.
Right? So it's just a weaning process.
Yes.
That's all it really is. And we've all got, like, anyone who's learned how to drive a car, we've all experienced it. We were just too focused on, like, not crashing the car.
Yeah.
But the same thing was done to us.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then
So
now
good.
we're at this place where we can, like, I don't know, check a text message, be on Waze, like, deal with some shit in the back, all that at the same time.
Yeah.
And not crash the car. In fact, get to our place, get to our destination, no problem.
Yeah.
So it's that again and again.
Yep.
But the cool thing is now we have strength in numbers. So first person, I do, you watch, and then we do side by side, and then you do, I watch, and then before you know it, I don't have to watch anymore.
Yep.
Because you've proven yourself enough times.
That's
What does that mean? It means that if I can now get this person up to the skill of you can now do the I do, you watch for the next person. Now we have 2 black belts in the dojo,
Yeah.
and then like 2 can make 4.
Yeah.
4 can make 8, and then that's how we go like COVID viral.
Totally. I've experienced people come into an organization where they have so much skill and we can do that whole process. You know, I'll do it, you watch it, and then before you know it, they're as good, if not better than me. And then as soon as a junior or someone comes in hoping that they're going to do it, they haven't been able to. And it's such a letdown sometimes. And now that I reflect on this in this conversation, you know, I wonder what tools I could have given those people, because there's a few that come to mind where it's like, you are so good, but unfortunately you cannot train and effectively lead a team.
Yes.
Whereas other people in the organization, they have been able to do that, and then they become COO, CEO, CM. That's C-suite, senior leadership. They
Totally.
can duplicate themselves.
Totally.
So I guess my question is, like, if you've got someone that's really good, but they just are struggling to lead someone else or manage someone, like, what do you do in that situation?
100%. Just leave them be.
Yeah, just that's what I did.
Right? Just
You're
leave
good,
them be.
keep doing
You can be a highly compensated IC, individual contributor,
Yeah.
without moving you into the because I think
Yeah.
Gene Wickman, right? He was the guy that wrote Traction, like Entrepreneur, like EOS, that type of a framework. It's a widely read book by a whole bunch of entrepreneurs, especially the digital entrepreneurs. And he has that GWC framework, right? For someone to do the job well, they need to get it, want it, and have capacity to do it. But the want it is such a big component.
Totally.
So if they don't want it, like, I can't want it for you, bro.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so going back to your analogy, we've got the one food truck, single hierarchy, people are subbing in and out, everyone kind of knows how to do everything. We've got a long line of people, let's get it done. Then you're saying the next step is you figure out how you can, you know, through that analogy of going, I'm going to do it, you watch, and then we wean into a place where you're now self-sufficient on your own.
Yeah.
And now they can duplicate themselves as well through the same process. So now you've got 8 food trucks, and all you're doing is making a few calls, getting a few texts, and they're running without you. So the founder has successfully got out of his own way, figured out how to hire a team, how that team can duplicate themselves, and they're growing a business.
Totally.
The next stage is usually the point where, yes, the business runs without you, but then it poses the question, does the business grow without you? And usually it's a no. And that's why, so we had step 1 before, now we're at step 2. The food trucks go out every night and they run, but we're not going from 8 to 10 to 16 trucks without me. I'm still going out, doing the deals, getting another truck, like, you know, pushing it. And there's no one necessarily in the organization, or it's not set up so that when I go away on holidays, I come back and I've grown 20%.
Yeah.
And then because that's the next kind of step. So do you have a framework for that?
So I think that first and foremost is the first question that needs to get asked is whether the founder wants to stay that person. And what I mean by that is, like, is that their zone of genius?
Growth.
Right?
Yeah.
To stay in that zone of, like, wheeling and dealing and thinking about, like, ideating and moving into that, growing the business and staying there and making that their baby to continue to nurture, because they have the people, the lieutenants, I guess, who can maintain. And more likely than not, they'll have ideas on how to grow, maybe more so at the local level anyhow.
Which is good.
If, however, the founder is more like you know what, I just want to kind of kick back, do whatever I do, pursue whatever I would like to pursue and have someone in there to grow the business. For the most part, usually, especially if it's a bootstrapped business, usually it'll be someone from that from the team who's managed to stick around and have enough context, not only about the business, but the way that the founder thinks and works. Or it could be someone external who's 4 steps away.
However, in my experience, someone external, the best people in terms of the ones that have really grown my organizations started as interns, started as juniors. External come in and they come in with their corporate lingo and framework, and it's just like, man. But again, that's just my experience.
And that you
if
hit
you
it
can
right there.
promote though from the bottom up to either be a CEO of the company or lead it, it's just so much better.
Totally. And you hit it right there. That's you said, but that's just my org. Right. There's this one saying that comes out of Silicon Valley, which is like, companies are the long shadows of their founders. You know, I really like that saying. It didn't land with me the first time I heard it. And I think it was maybe Walter Isaacson's book about Steve Jobs where that line was coined. But like just like how every brand needs to know their audience, I think every company also needs to know what their DNA is like. And that usually stems from the founders.
Absolutely.
I've also been in companies where it is culture-less because the founders they hire for competency, they hire for technical capability, but they don't hire, they don't hire the way film crews hire. What I mean by that, film crews for the most part hire the first test or interview process or the criteria that they apply is like, will I be okay getting stranded with you on an island for a really protracted amount of time? Because that's what film sets are. You're just hectic as all fuck, high stress, and you just need to be able to figure out how to flow. And if you're on a movie, you're on like a location for a long ass time. But most companies, they'll go like, well, I'm just trying to make this work. I want to grow revenue. I need talented people. So I just bring in talent. But there's no like cultural glue.
That just feels so wrong to me. It feels like life in black and white, or just what's the point? I wake up because I enjoy the people that I'm working with.
Totally.
And I hire for personality and for cultural fit over skills. Every single day of the week, because you can train a skill, but you can't train a personality to fit into a culture. To, you know.
And it's immediately felt whenever I drop by your office. Immediately felt. You know, like it's not like I gotta wait a second to kind of feel. It's like you walk in and you just get it. Everyone here vibes. Do they have disagreements and conflicts? I'm sure.
Of course.
But there's something in the air that's there that's undeniable. And then there's some other places you walk into and they're like, there's dead air. Everyone's doing their job, sure. I'm sure people are hitting KPIs, sure. But the moment the clock hits a certain time, everyone just fucks off.
Out.
I don't need to spend another time with you. In fact, all conversations are like, oh, so how was the weekend? Oh, cool. Okay. And that's it, right? Whereas I prescribe more so to a, again, I think this might be a fire service thing. Like if you're going out every shift and you are doing shit that like could save lives or could like not save lives, you gotta, like you're going through some like trauma, right? So whoever's in the truck with you, you gotta be like thick as thieves.
100%.
All the time. So I try to encourage that and live out the org like that as well. Because I mean, when you hit 120 something people fully remote, it's very hard to maintain that.
I was going to ask. So in a world where remote work is becoming more and more the norm, and you know, especially after COVID, people just didn't come back. And also, you know, you've got multiple offices around the world. You know, we're the same. We've got international staff everywhere. How important is culture with those remote workforces? And also how best to make sure that the culture is strong when maybe you're not actually together physically. Because I'll just throw a lot of money at offices, make sure they're wicked places to hang out. You know, I love that. My team's at the office on the weekend, like, you know, they're either working or partying or people crash there and sleep there. It's like, set up a space where people just want to come and then you're together. But when that's not always the case, how do you promote a culture that just breeds growth and just abundance?
For sure. So I think first one is selection, right? And I think It's so funny talking to so many founders, and I've talked to a lot of founders. I think a lot of founders don't even actually know that they are allowed to hire for culture, as in, you know what I mean? Like they'll go, yeah, but that feels biased, or that feels like I am not giving everyone a fair go.
This is a good point, especially when it's pushed so hard in, I guess, corporate Australia, and it's probably the same overseas as well, that like you have to be
on merit.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Or like what's on paper, or like assessment, or because of performance culture, you just want to get the person who performs.
Yeah.
However, I've, being next year the 10th year at the agency, I also coach a lot of founders. I've met enough like toxic rock stars who are like stellar at their job, like Ben Affleck in the accountant level, like just complete savage. But you would not, like, anytime you put them in a room with other humans, the other humans just want to just neck them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I've seen what it does to the surrounds.
Yeah.
Like the entire habitat, almost like the well just gets tainted, and then it becomes a founder headache. So there are all these like, kind of pitfalls that only rear their head later in the game. There's like a mid-game shit, you know what I'm saying? Right? So first one is selection for sure. And then the second one is, you know how the saying goes, like however much energy you have in person, whenever you're on camera, it halves it. Because the camera takes away some of that energy, so you have to like animate yourself a little bit more. I think remote works a bit the same. So what I mean by that, if you are in a like an in-person kind of workplace, water cooler conversations like, oh, how's the weekend? Like, did you get up too much? Oh my God, I'm so hungover right now. You can get away with that stuff and still feel some kind of bond because there are so many moments in between, right? But with when it's remote, it's not the remoteness that usually kills the culture. It's more that every interaction has to be planned out on the calendar.
Yeah.
You don't just randomly bump into someone online. You know what I'm saying? It's not like internet chat or some shit, right? So everything is so planned out. And what happens when it's also an intentional, I hit the meeting button and I'm like, right? So you got that thing going on.
Yeah.
It's so you can't get away with how was your weekend anymore because it just loses all that je ne sais quoi of the whole thing. So you got to go one level deeper. It's like, hey, I noticed that you're low energy. Can we talk about it? Right? Or, hey, I've got, like, how do you give feedback? How do you start to go build that connection when the moments in between life doesn't give it to you?
Yes.
You have to be much more intentional about it. I would almost say like 4x more intentional than if you were just have like an office job.
Yeah, totally. No, that's really good to hear. And you are a wealth of knowledge when it comes to team building and managing organizations. And I know you've launched a school community recently, which is helping entrepreneurs kind of cross these chasms that we're talking about, how to go from solopreneur to big organization where, you potentially have a team running it for you.
Yeah.
How can people find out more about your school group and just like keep soaking up this knowledge that you've got?
Sick. Appreciate the plug. It's called the Expansive Manager. So it's on School. If you just search the Expansive Manager, in fact, on Google right now, get this, bro. School is running like DPA ads, and my Expansive Manager seems to be the first one that showed. Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So it's called the Expansive Manager. School.com/the Expansive Manager. And what inspired me to start the school community is meeting a whole bunch of people who were like great ICs, and then they get to this point where they're trying to expand, and I see them falling into exactly the same traps that I fell into, which is a lot of the time getting yourself into a position of key man risk without even knowing that it's key man risk. So key man risk usually starts with yourself first. You are the key man, and you don't know how to expand out. And then you hire a savage manager, and the savage manager almost like runs your empire for you, and you feel a little bit liberated. But then now the savage manager becomes the key man or woman. And I've gone through, like, running this business for this long, I've gone through pregnancies, funerals, suicide attempts, like the whole gamut, right?
Yeah.
Like all that. First babies, second babies, third babies, all that.
Yeah.
And if it happens to your key man or woman, now you're up shit creek all over again. And usually that's when founders get sucked back in. And also, a lot of times founders would promote their most capable individual contributor, shove them into a manager position, and then find out they're a horrible manager. Again, key man. So having these types of tools, and I'm really talking a lot about it more on IG and on YouTube, because it's super, super fun for me.
Yep.
But then also two, I know how expensive it is, as unsexy of an offer it is. It's not how to get more leads. It's not how to become like a billionaire with e-com.
Yeah.
It's not how to get your NFT sold.
But it's the necessary. And it is such a pain for a lot of people dealing with teams and everything that you just mentioned there. So to have a resource like this for people, it's invaluable.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's the whole idea. It doesn't help you make your first money, but it helps you grow the current money you have, understanding management, and it definitely helps you keep the money better too.
Yeah,
right?
Nice. I love that. And your Instagram account, how can people find your content online?
Instagram.com/realdoseofd, although that might be changing soon. It might. I'm trying to see if I can get the Yo Uncle D. I've been called Unc a lot.
Uncle D, I love this.
So I think Yo Uncle D might be a switch over.
All right.
So it's either Real Dose of D or in the near future, Yo Uncle D.
The Unc.
The Unc.
I love this. Dee, thank you so much for taking the time out to sit down and have this conversation. I've learned a lot. I'm sure the listeners have as well.
I learned so much.
And let's do it again sometime.
Let's get it.
Thanks, bro.
So good.